You are listening to the College Football Report with Eric and Ryan Robinson, and it's only on the Central Indiana Sports Report. Welcome back to the Central Indiana Sports Report, college football fans, for a special edition of the College Football Report with Eric and Ryan Robinson, here to preview and predict the 4 college football playoff games this weekend. The first round games, 1 on Friday, 4 on Saturday. And we do it as part of a contest. We're going to talk about the contest a little bit. We'll talk more about the games in depth than we normally do. But real fast before we go on, the way it works is every game is worth 10 points. The more a team is favored, the fewer points they are worth. Through 15 weeks, Grant Schaus has 417 points. Ryan Robinson still in second place with 402. Will Rutherford 398, so right behind you. You guys still all have a pretty good chance of winning this. Mike Rich 385. I have 380. Michelle Garman 379. And here we go on this week, and the first one is Friday, and it might be the best of all of them. It is 8th seed Oklahoma at home against 9 seed Alabama. The Sooners are 10-2. Alabama 10-3, of course, controversially the only team in the playoffs with 3 losses. Alabama is, however, favored by 1.5 on the road. And the Crimson Tide's odds to win the national championship, 22-1. Oklahoma is just 45-1, even though they're starting at home. They're the 8th seed. The winner will face number 1 Indiana in the Rose Bowl. I have both teams worth 5, Eric.
This is the only game on Friday night. I think this is going to be an ugly game. There's no offense for either one of these teams. It's crazy, the narrative on Alabama, how it's changed so much in a month. We were also high on them, and they look like the team to beat 4 or 5 weeks ago, but I've lost all confidence in them. I don't like them on the road. They went to Oklahoma last year and just got blown out by a mediocre Oklahoma team. I'm going to take Oklahoma at home in this because I just don't have any faith in Alabama anymore. I think Alabama's offense is really struggling the last 3 or 4 weeks. And Ty Simpson, we talked about him heavily middle of the season for Heisman. And he's just, I don't know, they've just seemed like they've hit a wall. And this Oklahoma defense, it's really, really good. They're playing at home. I don't think Alabama's going to be able to get it going. Am I going to be shocked if Simpson comes out and throws for 300? I'd be shocked. Could it happen? Possibly, but I don't think it's going to. I'm going with Oklahoma in this one.
I'll play devil's advocate here. I'm taking Alabama in Norman on ABC and ESPN on Friday night. I'm going to take Alabama to win this one. As strange as it is to say, the winner of Alabama-Oklahoma is going to lose to Indiana anyway.
That's why it's funny the way this bracket lines up compared to last year's bracket. I think this year's bracket, the top 4 teams, hands down, they got it right. Those are the best 4 teams right now in college football, the teams on the bye. Last year, every team that had the bye got beat. So all these first-round games that we're going to talk about tonight, those winners went on and beat the teams that had the bye last year.
That's right.
But they did the seeding differently this year. So I don't give, and me looking at these matchups, I don't give anyone in this first round any chance to win the second round. I think those top 4 teams go 4-0 next week, and you're going to see Indiana, Ohio State, Texas Tech, and Georgia in the semifinals. That's my opinion. I don't see any of these teams beating any of those 4 teams.
I agree with you except for one. We'll get there.
I already know where you're going to go.
Of course you do. I've been talking about them all year. Saturday noon on ABC and ESPN. It's 10 seed Miami at 7 seed Texas A&M. Miami is 10-2. A&M is 11-1. The Hurricanes are 25-1 to win the national championship. Texas A&M comes into this game a 3.5-point favorite and 17-1 odds to win the national championship. The winner will face number 2 Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl next Friday. Guys, I have Miami worth 6, A&M worth 4. I know who Eric's picking.
A&M all day. And just to keep talking a little bit about the bracket. So if Notre Dame would have got in over Miami, you would have Notre Dame A&M. That's a rematch. You already have Ole Miss playing Tulane in the first round. That's a rematch. You have Alabama, Oklahoma playing again. That's a rematch. So I don't think this tournament is lining up with like any type of excitement like last year's did. And I thought it was going to be different. You know, we thought all these teams had a chance to win it, but everything became so clear in the last few weeks, like who was really the top teams. This first round is outside of the A&M and Miami game. I don't know how much attention I'm going to pay to the other games. James Madison, Oregon, that's going to be terrible. Ole Miss, Tulane, terrible. And like I said, Friday night, Alabama, Oklahoma, probably an ugly game. No offense. But the A&M Miami's the only game I want to watch because I want to watch Miami just get their ass kicked, I hope. But I'm taking A&M huge over Miami. Yeah, I'm taking the Aggies too. Give me the 4 points and a big win against Miami. I hope this was just a rout, just to help me get through the off season better. And I really love the matchup against Ohio State in the second round, Texas A&M and Ohio State. I think that could be a fantastic game.
Obviously, I'm taking A&M. 3:30 on TNT and HBO Max. It is 11 seed Tulane at 6 seed Ole Miss. Tulane's 11-2. Ole Miss 11-1. Tulane's odds to win the national championship, the longest of any team in the tournament, 500-1. Ole Miss is a 17.5-point favorite in this game, 22-1 odds to win the national championship. The winner faces number 3 Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. If you want Tulane and the upset, it's worth 7 points. The Rebels worth 3 at home.
Yeah, go ahead and put me down for 3 points. This will be my 3-point lock. There's no way Tulane wins. Worst case scenario, Ole Miss comes out and doesn't even look organized as a team since they had lost their head coach. But I think they're going to come out prepared with the chip. I think Ole Miss is ready to get back on the field, prove a point. They beat them by 30 already this year. And that Trinidad Chan was just playing so much better than he was early in the season. This is going to get ugly. Ole Miss, huge. We don't need to spend a lot of time on this one with me because I think this is going to be over by halftime. Ole Miss, I think Eric's right. They got something to prove with Lane Kiffin moving on, and you got Charlie Weiss Jr. now heading up the duties as head coach and offensive coordinator. He's been really good all year for that program. I think he'll hold the fort down. They'll win comfortably, and then the winner of this game goes to Georgia. I think you're going to be seeing a Ole Miss Georgia matchup next weekend. That'll be good.
And the final game, 7:30 Saturday on TNT and HBO Max. It is 12 seed James Madison against 5 seed Oregon. James Madison, great year, 12-1. They are 350-1 to win the national championship. Oregon, 11-1. They're only lost by just a couple of points. The number 1 Indiana, they're the 5 seed. They are 21.5-point favorite in this game. And the Ducks are 8-1 odds to win the national championship, the best of any team playing this weekend. The winner will face number 4 Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl, and Eric has Oregon in this one.
Why would you say I have Oregon? But I'm right. The Oregon's who you're going to say has a chance to win the whole thing, right?
Not the whole thing. They have a chance to win next week.
Oh, okay. I get you. Okay. I don't disagree. But obviously, I'm Oregon this week. But I will say this, a little side note. I give James Madison a way better chance to win, even though the spread is higher at Oregon than I give Tulane against Mississippi. James
Really?
Madison's got a defense. They got the number 2 defense in America. They this could be closer than you think. I give them no chance to win, but they might make it interesting for a little bit.
Ryan, I think so much crap is being talked about Tulane and James Madison. I wouldn't be surprised to see either one of them be competitive. I'd be shocked to see either one of them win it.
Well, of the 2 games, this one might be the most competitive just because of James Madison's defense. I think they might be able to cover the 21-point spread, but clearly no one's going to give them a shot at winning the games. I'm taking the Ducks in this one. How many points did you say Oregon was worth?
8. Oh, I didn't say it. Thank you for reminding me. James Madison's worth 8, Oregon worth 2.
I'll take the layup. I'll take the 2 points in Oregon, but James Madison may cover the spread in this one, and then we'll have Oregon moving on to play Texas Tech.
Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, and I really like this Texas Tech defense. The next round of games are going to be way more competitive and interesting. I think there'll be more storylines with those games than
Absolutely.
this Friday and Saturday. So, but I do think of all the 8 teams playing this weekend, Oregon might have the best shot at getting 2 wins in the tournament.
Yeah.
We'll keep an eye on them.
And the answer is yes. I do think Oregon can win it all. I don't think that they will. I'd probably put them 4th. I would put them ahead of Texas Tech, obviously, in my mind. I'd put them slightly behind Georgia, but not very far. And I think they're just right there. I think any of those 4 teams could win it. I would have put Notre Dame on that list, by the way.
I know. the third best odds to win the national championship, and they're not even playing in it. Yeah.
For the record, Ohio State is the betting favorite to repeat at 2-1. Indiana second at plus 250, just behind the Buckeyes, and then Georgia is 7-1. Texas Tech 9-1, which is actually worse than Oregon, which is 8-1. So,
when we did our first podcast this season, and we talked about, Greg, you had the question you asked each one of us: who's this year's Indiana? Do you remember what my answer was?
Might be Indiana.
It might be Indiana.
Sure was. And then some. And we all said we thought that they wouldn't be as good as last year, but there was a chance they'd be better. Because they had a lot of guys coming back.
We've got our picks now. Just real quick, let's just talk about Indiana and what's happening in Bloomington and the reaction and where they go from here. First Big Ten championship since '67. First outright, I think, in 80 years. And then Saturday night, Mendoza getting the Heisman Trophy. I mean, what's next? Is it the national championship?
It just could be, man. It just really could be.
I know. After that Big Ten game, I'm like, wow.
They look like the best team, and it's because of their defense. I know Mendoza won the Heisman Trophy, but they are where they are because of that defense.
Well, let me talking about defense. So I always say defense still wins championships. 9 of the 12 playoff teams in the top 13 in the country on defense. So that's not by accident. The teams who are not, you got Ole Miss, A&M, and Tulane that are further on down the list. That's why I don't give those teams any chance. But James Madison, they're at number 2, Ohio State number 1 overall. The Buckeyes are going to be hard out. We've seen Indiana beat them once already, but
yeah,
I like Indiana.
We saw Oregon beat them last year.
My odds to win the whole thing, I would have Indiana and Ohio State the same. Then I would have Texas Tech, and then I'd have Georgia 4th. That's who I think could win the whole thing. And in my order, I'd have the same 4 teams, but I'd flip flop Texas Tech and Georgia. I think Georgia would have the second best odds behind IU and Ohio State. Man, that Texas Tech defense is better. Oof. Well, we're going to find out. We're going to get to watch it play out. So,
yes, we are. I'll take Oregon against Texas Tech. I know you guys and everybody's talking up Texas Tech. I think this Oregon team's better than you think.
Well, they're now in the top 10. They got the number 4 defense right now. They're kind of quietly just been building up this kind of two-headed monster out there with offense and defense. So
That's right.
I don't disagree with you, Greg. I've been kind of not totally on board with Oregon all year. But man, they're playing and peaking at the right time, and they're going to be rested up.
Before we go, guys, let's talk about the FCS. A couple of bonus games here on our picks. The semifinals are this weekend, and both games are essentially toss-ups. I have both games worth 5 points. Let's start with 7:30 on Saturday, ESPN2. It's 11-4, 17 seed Illinois State at 12-2, 5 seed Villanova. Despite the seedings, Illinois State comes into the game as a 1.5 point favorite in Philadelphia. They've won as the underdog the last 2 weeks, 29-28 over top seed North Dakota State, then 42-31 last week over UC Davis, the team that eliminated them last year in the Sweet 16, all after falling to the 17 seed because of an ugly 37-7 loss to rival Southern Illinois in the regular season finale, which made them have to play in the first round and might have gotten a momentum going. They found a way, even without their star running back, Winkers Wright, who promised me if they win this game that he will join us on next week's podcast to preview the national championship. And guys, Daniel Sopkowitz has been a one-man wrecking crew in this postseason, and he's going to be playing on Sundays next year. He leads the nation with 16 touchdowns, including 2 in the upset against North Dakota State and 150 yards and 3 more touchdowns in last week's win over UC Davis. Villanova, as I mentioned, is the 5 seed. They upset Tarleton last week on the road to advance to the Final Four. They lead the nation in rushing as a team, led by the 7th leading rusher in the nation, Eli Gilman. As I mentioned, Eric, both teams worth 5 points. You'll never guess who I'm taking.
That's a lot to take in, Greg. If I ever need to phone a friend on FCS football, I know who I'm calling. You're my lifeline, Greg. I've only gone against them one time. I'm going to stick with the Redbirds. Even on the road, I hated these playoff games. It's so hard to go against the home team. But I'm going to stick with Illinois State to get it done, and obviously what's going to be a close ball game. We need Illinois State to win because I missed the podcast with Winkers last time. So I need him to join us next week so I get to meet that young man.
And they've got to represent the Missouri Valley. I want to just say real fast that Victor Dawson in place of Winkers Wright has been fantastic. There is very little drop-off to the second string running back, if any. The problem is they used to have both of them, and now they only have one of them. And 4 o'clock on ABC is the big one. The two teams who are now the favorites to win the national championship. It's 13-1. Montana, the 3 seed at 12-2. Montana State, the 2 seed. Montana's only loss was 31-28 to Montana State in the regular season finale. This is the 125th meeting between the Bobcats and Grizzlies. Montana State is a 4.5 point favorite. Their only 2 losses were the first 2 weeks of the season, if that sounds familiar. 59-13 at Oregon, and then double overtime at South Dakota State in Bozeman, where this game is being played, guys. The Grizzlies and Bobcats both worth 5 points. Who you taking?
I'm taking the home team, and that's the only reason I'm picking it. Home team, playoff football. These two teams are so even. The home field is the only thing that can really the difference between the two. So I'll take Montana State at home. I'm going to go the opposite direction because I think it's hard to beat a team twice in the same season. So I'm going to take Montana in this one. I think this is going to be another tight one, but I think Montana gets revenge in this one, and they move to the title championship of FCS against Illinois State.
And next week, guys, we'll talk about the national quarterfinals, the Cotton Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, and, of course, the Rose Bowl, the one we're most interested in around here. Always appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you next week, guys.
All right. Thank you, Greg.
Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susan.